This video is made possible by Francisco Herrera Jr. at the Honda Superstore of Joliet. Francisco is a longtime car enthusiast who is dedicated to finding the perfect vehicle for you. Email him at the address on the screen or contact him with his information found in the description below.
Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2022 Honda Passport Trailsport. Up front is a 3.5 liter V6 and down below is a 9-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this here Trailsport for a couple of different reasons, but mainly the fact that the Trailsport is new for 2022 and with that carries a slight facelift of the Passport. I've reviewed two Passports before, an Elite, which is the top trim level from last year, as well as I did a Passport right when they first came out in 2019. And so I've driven a handful of these and I'm excited to get back behind the wheel because this is one of my favorite current Honda products. Before we get on to anything else, I have a website, zackpradel.com, where you can find merchandise like stickers. I have this retro sticker pack currently available. You could also submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me through a quick and easy submission form, or you could read my behind the scenes blog to see what I'm filming before it comes out on the channel. And with every purchase of merchandise from the website helps keep ad reads away from my videos. I appreciate it and I'm sure you do too. But before we get on to anything else, let's talk about what comes in the Trailsport package. Well, according to the window sticker, we get gray wheels, grille, bumper, and skid garnish, Trailsport logo seats and all-season floor mats, orange interior lighting, and a Trailsport badge with black nameplate emblems. But the package actually goes further than that. It's only offered on four-wheel drive models, so you cannot get a front-wheel drive Trailsport, which that actually ups the towing capacity, it being four-wheel drive, brings it up to 5,000 pounds of towing. We get orange seat stitching along with orange steering wheel stitching. It comes on 245/60 R18 tires as opposed to 265/45/20s on the regular Passport. So a little bit skinnier but thicker sidewalls for going over tougher terrain. And it does have the roof rails as standard and navigation as standard, so you won't get lost out on the trails. The Trailsport is actually the mid-tier of the Passport, which is kind of interesting. You have the base model EXL, then you have the Trailsport, then you have the Elite up at the top. The Elite's going to have some slightly nicer features and of course be more on-road oriented, where this is more off-road oriented. Honda advertises this as a purpose-built off-roader from the factory, and we'll talk about my thoughts on that towards the end of the video. But let's get back to that 3.5 liter V6 under the hood, making about 280 horsepower. This is a J Series V6, which is an engine family from Honda that they've been using for a long time. Of course, they updated and changed things every once in a while, but the old Honda Odysseys also have a J Series 3.5. And so what does that mean? Well, any issues have been ironed out over the last 20 years. It's still relatively efficient, getting 19 miles to the gallon in the city and 24 on the highway, which isn't fantastic, but also not terrible for a vehicle of this size. And honestly, I would put all my faith into J Series V6s. The Honda Odyssey has them, the Ridgelines, they're great engines. Like I said, paired to it, 9-speed automatic transmission. Now the 9-speed does not get any special treatment here for the Trailsport. It's not geared any differently. All Passports come with 9-speed automatics. And that I really like because I'm actually not a fan of CVTs. Not just Honda CVTs, but any CVT. And so the CR-V, this car's technical little brother, only comes with CVTs. I'm not a fan of that. However, I really like the CR-Vs. I just don't like the CVT. This comes with a true 9-speed automatic, and I really like that. And if you hate CVTs as well, the Passport has you covered. Last but not least, like I said, the Passport Trailsport is four-wheel drive. However, you can find other Passports in front-wheel drive, and that lowers their towing capacity to 3,500 pounds. This gets a 5,000-pound towing capacity, which honestly is pretty good for a vehicle in this segment. Beats the crap out of the Mazda CX-5, that's for sure. So I like that a lot. This is a more can-do vehicle than the CR-V, even though they look very similar in size and stature. once you dig into them, peel the onion a little bit, you start to realize that this is a lot more rugged. With that out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 2 physical gauges and a screen. On the left is my coolant temperature, and on the right is my fuel, and then I get that screen in the center that I'm showing you can change a couple things. I like that the tachometer is up at the top. Does kind of have a little bit of a modern 80s vibe to me. Reminds me of the old Nissan Datsun Zs with their digital gauges. I like that a lot. And this screen is nice and colorful, has plenty of different colors in here. And that's what I always use to gauge how expensive or nice a screen feels. A lot of base model cars have one color in their screen and that's it, but this actually feels nice, authentic, and expensive. On the steering wheel on the left, I have my controls for that center screen, as well as volume, skip track, home, voice options, phone options. I mean, I really have a ton of stuff over here, which is nice, but can be a little bit daunting to look at. On the right, I do have my radar cruise options. So every Passport is outfitted with Honda's sensing system, meaning radar cruise control, yes, but also blind spot monitoring, cross traffic alert, lane keep assist, all of those nannies come standard on every single Passport. The actual steering wheel feels nice. It does have the perforated leather with the orange stitching. I think looks and feels very nice in my hands, and no complaints. Off to the left, I do have my power folding mirrors and power mirror adjustments. I have my economy button, so this will put the car into eco mode, give me a little bit better gas mileage where it can. And then I have all my sensors on and off. I do have heated windshield wipers, which is standard on the Trailsport, but not on the EXL. And then I have traction control off, things like that. Moving on to the door, I have 2 different memory seat options, very, very nice. And then I have my lock and unlock, child locks, and my power windows. Moving into the center, we do have the Honda infotainment system, so let's pull over and talk about it. All right, so let's talk Honda Infotainment. Now, this is Honda's newer system, which is very, very nice. It's very colorful, as you can see. Navigation is red, phone is green, settings yellow, FM blue. And so I really, really like that. You guys know I love my colors. And of course, I do have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which is fantastic. We can scroll over here, look at my messages, social playlists, system updates, my Honda music, and things like that. I don't have anything too crazy in here to show off. I don't have the rear seat intercom system like you would find on the Honda Odyssey Elite or vehicles of that nature, but I really do like this system. I think the screen has a really good refresh rate and is very, very responsive, and you can go to all apps here and search through apps that way as well. Let's take a quick look at the backup camera. I do have Honda's infamous multiple views that I could do straight down, a straight back view, or a more of a fisheye view, which is nice. And I can turn some sensors on and off, and I can have sensors up on the screen or leave it over here. Really, really like that Honda does this on most of their vehicles. They allow you to change between multiple different views, whatever suits you best and whatever you're backing up into, which is fantastic. Down below the infotainment system, I do have my climate controls. I love the fact that Honda uses matte black materials here for these buttons. A lot of companies are starting to go towards piano black, and it smudges so easily. I like this matte black, and I do have dual zone recirculating, and I'd have my rear climate options as well. We'll talk about that when we talk about the back seats. Then I do have 2 heated seat options for the front driver and passenger, as well as a little cubby found in the middle of them. And then down on the center console, I do have a 12-volt power outlet. I have a USB 2.5 amp port, and I have a wireless charger down at the very bottom, which is fantastic. Moving into the center console, on the left, I have the shifter. This is a push button shifter, and it's fine. I don't really mind it too much. I think at the very beginning, when Honda started doing this, I thought it was very dumb and stupid. However, I have matured. I am 24 years old now, and I realize that these push buttons are actually kind of nice, and I actually kind of like them. However, on that shifter, you'll actually find 2 interesting buttons. I do have automatic start-stop on and off, which is fantastic, but I also have several different drive modes. Now, if you get the 2-wheel drive, it just comes with snow mode. But since this is 4-wheel drive, I have normal, snow, mud, sand, and then of course back to normal. So I do get 4 different drive modes for the 4-wheel drive, which is fantastic. And I love the little graphic that comes up when you switch drive modes. Now, of course, On all Passports, you get a white little Passport in the gauge cluster. It just so happens the fact that this car is white and the gauge cluster car is white, so it matches pretty nicely, which I love. Off to the right, however, we do have cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the Honda Passport Sport Trailsport, Sporty Trail, Sport, and unfortunately it fails. It has this wider lip up at the top that allows the bottle to enter, but it can't go in any further, so it doesn't stay put, which is the whole point of a cup holder. And so unfortunately, one of the few Hondas to fail the big friggin' bottle test is the Passport. Then I have this giant center console. I don't know if it could quite fit a rotisserie chicken. However, it is rather large, and I do have aux input as well as a power outlet and some other storage goodies found in the center console. Moving on to the seats. The seats are nice and comfortable. They are leather, perforated leather, and they are heated memory, things like that, which I really, really like. And you know what? I really do like the Trailsport stitching up on the headrest. I really, really do like that, and I think it's a nice little touch. But speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a backseat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2022 Honda Passport Trailsport. Couple of things to note back here. First of all, orange stitching carries on back here. Fantastic, love that. Headroom great, legroom great. The Passport is only a 2-row SUV. There is no third row offered in the Passport, at least currently. And I think that that's fantastic. I know I said this in the last Passport review I did, but I love the fact that it is a 2-row because this gives you plenty of space. They're not trying to squeeze that third row in behind you and sacrificing second row space. I have plenty of space back here, very, very comfortable. And so that goes towards me thinking that this is one of the best proportioned vehicles out there, and I'll talk about that with the looks. However, here in the back seat, down on the center console, I actually do get an AC wall outlet as well as 2 USB chargers, which is fantastic. But one last thing to note before we talk about the cargo space is the fact that I do get this nice little sunshade. Not a lot of vehicles offer this type of sunshade in the back, but if you have kids, especially kids in car seats, kids under the age of 2, they can't really protect themselves from the sun. Bada bing, bada boom, you have this sort of shade that you can pull up, and it retracts into the door. You don't have to go on Amazon and buy some rinky-dink $1.99 shade that's gonna break in 2 days. It's actually built into the door, and it's a factory Honda part, which is fantastic. Let's go take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, so around the back of the Passport Trailsport, and here on the key fob, if I can get it out of my stupid pocket, can hold that, and it does have a power tailgate, which is standard here on the Trailsport, but the base model does not come with a power tailgate. And I do have a button to close it I'll be using here in a second. But once we are back here, a couple interesting things to note. I do have this power button to lower the second row of seats. Absolutely love that feature. Flick of a switch and it is down. I also do get this little extra compartment back here for storage. I have this little cubby over here for storage. I have a 12-volt outlet and some tie downs. Basically anything you would want out of a modern SUV trunk you can get here in the Trailsport, and I love that. Come back up here, hit the button, and it power closes, which is just a great, great feature. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and like I said, it has been slightly facelifted for the Trailsport and for 2022, and I really, really like it. That's always been one of my favorite parts of the Passport, is I think that this car is really, really well proportioned. I think it looks good in its current form. I think it would look still great shrunken down to a little pocket-sized Hot Wheel, or put into a cartoon. It has these really good shapes to it, and I've always sort of been drawn to the Passport. I don't know, I just think it's one of Honda's best proportioned vehicles. It looks right. Sometimes that's a huge part of the battle. Last thing about this exterior is that this here particular Passport is finished in platinum white pearl, which is a $395 option. And if it were me, I would buy my own in the Sonic Gray Pearl. I think that color is really, really cool and one of Honda's best colors at the moment. But now let's get to my final thoughts here on the Trailsport. Honda's so-called purpose-built off-roader. Well, I don't know if it's really a purpose-built off-roader. Here's the thing. Toyota is doing the exact same thing. They offer the RAV4 Adventure trim level. which comes with orange accents, slightly knobbier tires, and some other off-roady type things. Subaru is doing this with the Wilderness packages. However, I think those are actually more off-road oriented than this. And so, do I think this is a purpose-built off-roader like Honda advertises it? No, this is not a hardcore, stuck in the mud, going through ruts kind of vehicle. However, with that being said, I do think that this is a great trim level for the Passport. I think this car would actually suit me well. The reason I say that is that my girlfriend loves hiking. And so I now love hiking, but we only get out to the mountains once a year, maybe twice a year. And so for those 2 outings a year, yes, it would be nice to have an off-road vehicle, something adventurous for climbing up the gravel roads of a mountain. But for 363 other days of the year, I have to drive that car to my job, to the store, to the bank. And in those instances, I don't want an off-roader. I'm not trying to compare this car to the Bronco and Jeep, but driving those 2 cars in traffic makes me want to take a Razor scooter to the ankle. This is normal in traffic. It's good in traffic. It's comfortable. It's quiet. It drives like a normal SUV. And so when I want to go to the mountains and cosplay as Chris McCandless, I can. And I can do it in a vehicle like this. But for every other day of the year, it's still a Honda. And it's still a Honda with a reliable V6 and 9-speed automatic. Those 2 things are a wonderful pairing and something that really draws me to this car. No, this isn't a hardcore off-roader, but it's a fun little trim level, and it's the trim level I would choose for the Passport. Huge thank you to Francisco from Honda Superstore of Joliet. He is absolutely awesome. We've been working together for years at this point. He's a car enthusiast himself. He will find the right vehicle for you. Please contact him if you want a new Passport or the hot new Honda Civic, if you want a CR-V hybrid, whatever it might be. Francisco can find the right vehicle for you from Honda. He's great to work with. Please reach out to him with any questions, comments, or concerns you might have about the Passport. He will be sure to answer them. And like I said, we've been working together for years, and I wouldn't have worked with him if he wasn't just the best. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.